Hey guys, it's Jessica here from Jessica's Way. So it is Wednesday, aka my weigh-in day, and today also happens to be my 8-week post-op. So I am now 2 months out from surgery. I started this journey at 291 pounds. That was back on December 19th. And had my VSG or vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery on March 5th of 2013. And so today I weighed in at 218.6. Just let me double check that. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yes, 218.6. So that was down 3.4 pounds from last week, which I'm pretty happy about considering that last week I gained 0.8 pounds. But I mean, that just goes to show you that your body just kind of does its own thing and adjusts in its own way. Now, I've talked a little bit over the last couple weeks about how I'm kind of going off plan, going with a new plan that my nutritionist has made up for me, just because my post-op plan from my not so much from my surgeon, but from my facilitating program wasn't really working out well for me because of my consistently low blood sugars. So my family doctor and my personal trainer and my nutritionist all agreed that I needed to be on a more nutritionally balanced diet that included, it's called pairing really, where at every meal basically you want to have a little bit of your essential fats, complex carbs, and protein. That way, if you're having all of those things, it really helps to kind of level out your blood sugars as opposed to eating just protein and no carbs, or eating too many carbs and not enough of the protein and fat to keep you from spiking, that sort of thing. Another thing is that I've increased my calories because my personal trainer wouldn't even work with me if I didn't agree to eat a minimum of 1,200 calories, or work my way up there, I should say. Because I mean, I want to weight train, I want to tone, and in order to do that, you need to have more calories. Your body, I mean, just sitting here blinking for 24 hours, I'm burning more than 600 to 800 calories. So, I mean, essentially, you're extremely malnourished no matter how you look at it when you're only eating 600 to 800 calories. And I don't mean that in a way to put down anybody else, because I know there's so many of us that are following our surgical programs that that's where we're supposed to be, and if it works for you, that's fine. But for my body, naturally I'm a very muscular person. I have a very large frame, I'm tall. My body needs fuel to be able to do the simplest things, and 600 to 800 calories just doesn't do it for me. There is absolutely no way that I could do actual substantial cardio or weight training with that few calories. So we're slowly working at upping my calories. Last week, now keep in mind, I lost 3.4 pounds this week, and I did that by increasing my carbs, complex carbs, not simple carbs. There's a huge difference. So I've really increased my whole grains. I am eating bread, I am eating brown rice, I am eating whole wheat pasta, that sort of stuff. I'm not going overboard. So I increased my complex carbs, I increased my calories from an average of about 600 to 900, so 300 calories a day on average is what I increased by this week, and I still lost 3.4 pounds. So, you know, intellectually, I have a background in nutrition. I know that this is going to work for me. So that is why I'm comfortable going off of my plan, and in the long run I think it'll be better because I won't have to worry so much about my low blood sugars. They still are on the lower side, but they're more stable. Now, I went from having 9 low blood sugars in 3 days to having 3 low blood sugars in 8 days. So that's a pretty big difference. Now, just to give you guys an idea of kind of what I'm doing, there's a lot of people and doctors and nutritionists and whatnot that don't really agree with the like Canada Food Guide and stuff like that, and you know, there's different reasons for that, but basically I'll start with this. When I saw my nutritionist, I had given her what I was eating for a week. And based on what I had given her, she did a nutritional analysis, and this is kind of what it ended up looking like. And it gives you, you know, your average calories, protein, carbohydrates, fiber, fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, your water intake, all your vitamins and minerals. So you can see here, based on what I was eating, my vitamins and minerals are absolutely horrible. They are, I mean, there's a few of them, like, that I have 0 of, you know. So it's a really good thing I take a multivitamin. But with the exception of vitamin K and vitamin B5, absolutely everything is not where it should be. And then if you look up here, my cholesterol, I mean, it's high, but it's, like, I was averaging about 314 grams a day. Women, really, adult women shouldn't be getting over 200. So the reason for that, the reason for that is largely the amount of eggs I was eating. I was eating eggs every single day, and they're high in cholesterol. It's good cholesterol, but it's cholesterol nonetheless. So we want to get my cholesterol down on average. So that's fine, but everything else, my protein, carbs, fiber, fat, everything was low, especially my carbs, in terms of what my body at this size and, you know, everything else kind of needs to be able to function properly and maintain my weight. So this is to maintain. To lose, the plan is that by the end of 3 months of seeing my nutritionist, if I follow kind of the plan she's laid out for me, she figures that I'll be able to go from 33% body fat, which is where I'm at right now, to, which is the top, by the way, of the healthy range. Healthy body fat for women of my age is 21% body fat to 33%, so I'm at the very top number, which is exciting for me because when I saw her about a year and a half ago, I was 48% body fat. So that's a pretty significant drop. So the goal is to get from about 33% body fat down to a healthy 25 to 26. She figures is, like, you know, where I'll be really good. And that'll get me down to about 200 pounds. Now that's also dependent on what I'm doing with my weight training and toning, because everybody knows, and people argue this, muscle does way more than fat. Now people say no, it doesn't, because a pound of muscle is the same as a pound of fat, but volume wise it's not. A pound of fat, this is a pound of muscle. You know what I mean? The volume is completely different. So I could lose 20 pounds of fat and gain 20 pounds of muscle, and I will have majorly shrunk the amount of fat on my body, but I could still be like, you know, the exact same weight, just not be as fat. Instead, I will be more muscular. So depending on the amount of muscle mass that I accumulate over those 3 months, I may not be 200 pounds. I may be more than that, but my body fat will still have lessened significantly. So that is very much what my nutritionist focuses on. She does weigh me, but you know, obviously she measures me and she calculates my body fat and all that kind of stuff. But she focuses more on a healthy body fat and that sort of thing, as opposed to the number on the scale, because that, you know, and the BMI, going by the BMI, she doesn't think I'll ever get to 170 pounds, which is my goal weight based on the BMI. That would put me at the very top number of a healthy weight according to the BMI. But she said with my musculature and with my frame, just the fact that I'm naturally a big girl, she would be very doubtful if I ever got to 170. She thinks I would look pretty anorexic, actually. So anyway, there's that. This, for those of you who don't know, is a Canada food guide. So we're not following this exactly because it you know, there's a little more grains and stuff like that than she wants me to get. But basically, I have talked about my food addiction recently, and that I was diagnosed clinically as a compulsive overeater. One of the downfalls to that, in terms of having this surgery and being put on my post-op plan, is that I did a 360. I am still have an obsessive compulsive relationship with food at the moment, but it's, you know, gone in the opposite direction. And I can see how my nutritionist is concerned that I can go the other way into an eating disorder, such as bulimia or anorexia, because I'm so focused on the numbers. When I was following my plan as closely as I could, it really bothered me to get more than 600 calories a day. I was always within that 600, and it bothered me to get anything more, even though, again, I know that technically that is not good at all for my body. Now, she's trying to break that habit. I'm still tracking. I still use my MyFitnessPal and put everything in it, just to, you know, have a basis for us to look at. But my focus for this week, one of the goals she gave me for this week, was to focus more on, rather than trying to hit any particular number, to try and track my food groups. So she wants me, I don't know if you can see, I did it pretty little sheets. She wants me getting 6 servings of vegetables in a day, 6 servings of grains, of course, like whole grains, complex carbs. By the way, we are not including potatoes as a vegetable. Potatoes, when I do eat them, are being counted as a grain, for the fact that potatoes are technically considered a vegetable because of the nutrients, and by that I mean the vitamins and minerals that are found in them. But ultimately they are a starch, and therefore they are broken down into sugar and used as energy for your body. So for that reason, we are counting them as a grain, because that's what grains are. Grains are starches that are broken down into sugar that are used as energy. So for all intents and purposes, potatoes are a grain, not a vegetable. And then 2 servings of meats and alternatives, 2 servings of milks and alternatives, and 2 servings of fruit. The fruit, we're not as concerned about, because we're trying to stay away from the simple sugars. However, 1 or 2 servings of fruits. There's a lot of essential vitamins in them, so you know, I'm most likely going to try and get at least a serving of fruit a day. So I know it sounds like a lot, but you know, 1 serving of grain, for example, is half a cup of rice, or 1 slice of bread, that sort of thing. It's really not a lot. Same with the vegetables, like 1.5 cups of salad is 1.5 servings of vegetables. And half a cup of frozen veggies, for example, is a serving. 1 medium carrot is a serving. So it's not as much as it sounds like. And in order to do this, I have to eat every 2 to 3 hours. So basically I'm looking at like 3 small meals and 3 snacks in total throughout the day. Now, for a lot of people, they might consider that grazing, and a lot of people, grazing is dangerous. For me, it is working really well because, again, it's keeping my blood sugars stable. If I eat every 2 to 3 hours, I don't allow my blood sugars to drop. And I'm eating foods that aren't allowing them to spike, so they're kind of just staying nice and even, which is where I want them. So for me, this works. So yesterday I managed to get 4 servings of vegetables, 3.5 servings of grains. I got my 2 servings of milk and alternatives, 2 servings of meat and alternatives, and 1 serving of fruit. And then I'm also counting my other. I had 3 others yesterday, so other is anything that doesn't fit into that category, or those categories. So, I mean, it could be salad dressing, Cheese Whiz, or ice cream. Like, anything that doesn't fall in goes into other. So I'm trying to stick within like less than 4 others for the day. So I was pretty happy with how I did yesterday. I came in short for my vegetables and grains, but ultimately, I mean, it's vastly improved from what I was doing, because when she did my analysis, I was getting like 1 serving of vegetables and, you know, if I was lucky, like 1 serving of grains, and hardly, well, the milk and meat is basically all I was getting. So you can kind of understand where like that balance just can't be good for the body. It's got to be hard on the body, right? And I should point out too that once I started doing this, like eating a little bit more balanced, my hair loss that had only recently started has basically stopped again. So for me, that is a sign that this is better for me. And like I said, I'm not trying to sway anyone and tell you like, oh, what you're doing is bad for your body and that sort of thing. I'm just saying that this is what is working for me at this point. This is what I feel is the best for me. And you know, there might be people out there that are interested in seeing how the different ways of eating after weight loss surgery do or can work. So that, because I kind of had thought about pulling away from the weight loss surgery community simply for the fact that my views and, you know, nutritional beliefs don't really fit into the general consensus in the weight loss surgery community. But again, I mean, this is all about, you know, allowing others to kind of see what you're doing, what works for you, and being able to help and support other people. So even though others may not agree with me, or I may not agree with their plan, it still is a learning experience, you know. Another thing that I'm doing is I'm keeping an exercise journal, which I don't have to do. Like my nutritionist doesn't necessarily want me, or hasn't asked me to do this, but I am keeping an exercise journal. So that's just part of my obsessive compulsiveness. I track everything. So yesterday I ended up coming in at about just over 1,000 calories, which for me is like, oh my god. But I, like I said, hey, I lost 3.4 pounds this week. That was after weighing in the morning after a 1,044 calorie day. So I'm really interested to see how, as I continue to increase and try to get up to that minimum of 1,200 calorie point, how my body is going to react. And like I said, I really think that this is ultimately going to be the best thing for my body. So I will keep you all posted, and this video ran really long. I apologize, but I am going to also do a tag video, of course, from Lots of Sarah. It's a 4 things video, so I will be back later, probably at some point today or tomorrow, with that video. So if you're still with me, thanks for watching. Maybe you learned something, maybe you have comments or questions, so feel free to post anything and I will try to get back to you. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye guys.